Dear students, welcome back to the third session of the chapter Solutions. Today we discuss about ppm, another concentration unit. ppm is parts per million. ppm is defined as number of parts of one component in million parts of the solution is defined as ppm. ppm is parts per million. I am again repeating, number of parts of the component in million parts of the solution is defined as ppm. ppm can be represented as ppm is equal to number of parts of the component by total number of parts of all components into 10 to the power of 6, because it is million, 10 to the power of 6. This ppm concentration unit is used when the quantity of solute is in minute quantities. When the quantity of the solute is in minute quantities. Till now we have discussed different concentration units: molarity, molality, mass percentage, ppm, mole fraction, etc. Among these concentration units, mass percentage ppm, mole fraction, and molality, that is small m, these are independent of temperature. That is, these will not depend on change in temperature, will not change with change in temperature. Therefore, the concentration units which are independent of temperature are mass percentage, ppm, mole fraction, and molality. But molarity is temperature dependent. Now we switch on to another small topic, that is types of solutions. That is the types of solution. Before coming to this point, when volume percent is asked, you have to place volume in place of mass of the mass percent. Then you get volume percent. Now, types of solutions are mainly of three types. Gaseous solutions, liquid solutions, solid solutions. Mainly these are three types. In gaseous solutions, the solvent is gas and the solute may be either solid, liquid or gas. Again, in gaseous solutions, the solvent is gas and the solute may be gaseous, liquid or solid substance. Example, in atmospheric air, the maximum percentage is of nitrogen and then oxygen. Therefore, a mixture of nitrogen and oxygen gases is an example of gaseous solutions. Next one is liquid solutions. In liquid solutions, the solvent is liquid and the solute may be either solid, liquid or gas. Example, carbonated drinks, that is CO2 dissolved in water. CO2 is gaseous substance and water is liquid. When the solvent is liquid, it is liquid solution. The third category is solid solutions. In solid solutions, the solvent is solid and the solute is either solid, liquid or gas. Example, ornament gold. In ornament gold, the solvent is gold and the solute is copper. When the solvent is solid, it is called solid solution. Therefore, it is an example of solid solution. Another example of solid solution is metal amalgams. For example, sodium amalgam and zinc amalgam, etc. In amalgams, the solvent is mercury, which is a liquid, and the metals are solids like sodium and zinc. Therefore, it is also an example of solid solution. You have to think and analyze the examples when in gaseous solutions solvent is gas and the solute may be either solid or liquid. You think of the examples for these different types. That is about the types of solutions. Types of solutions. I think it is clear. Next, we will switch on to another small topic, solubility. Next, we switch on to another topic, solubility. Solubility is the maximum amount of a substance that can be dissolved in a specified amount of solvent at a specific temperature and pressure. Solubility is the maximum amount of substance that can be dissolved in a specified amount of the solvent at a specified temperature and pressure. It is the definition of solubility. The solubility of solids in liquids depends on nature of solute and solvent and the temperature and the pressure. When the solute is compounds like NaCl, or KCl, etc. These dissolve in water. But anthracene and naphthalene will be dissolved in benzene. On analyzing these facts, we can conclude or we may know that polar solutes, ionic compounds or polar solutes, are soluble in polar solvents like water, and non-polar solutes, These two are organic compounds and non-polar, are soluble in non-polar solvent like benzene. Therefore, we may say that like dissolves like dissolves like. That is, each and every compound will not dissolve in every solvent, like dissolves like. That is, polar compounds or solutes dissolve in polar solvents and non-polar solutes dissolve in non-polar solvents. It is the examples. Therefore, the solubility depends on nature of solute and solvent. Second one is the solubility of the solids in liquids depends on temperature. The solubility of the solids in liquids depends on temperature. The solubility of a solid in liquid increases if the dissolution process is endothermic. That is, delta H solution is greater than 0. Delta H solution means enthalpy of solution, which you have clear idea in thermochemistry. Therefore, the solubility of solid in liquids increases if the dissolution process is endothermic. That is, the delta H solution is greater than 0. Next one is the solubility of solids in liquids decreases if the dissolution process is exothermic. If the dissolution process is exothermic, that is, delta H solution is less than 0. The solubility of solids in liquids depends on temperature. That is, if the dissolution process is endothermic, delta H solution is greater than 0, the solubility increases. And if the dissolution process is exothermic, that is, the delta H solution is less than 0, the solubility decreases. That is, in exothermic process, dissolution process is exothermic, the solubility decreases, and if the dissolution process is endothermic, the solubility increases. That's the dependence of solubility of solids in liquids. Next, effect of pressure. Next, effect of pressure. Practically, the solubility of solids in liquids will not depend on pressure, because both solids and liquids are nearly non-compressible. They are not compressible with pressure. Therefore, the solubility of solids in liquids will not depend on pressure. These are the factors that affect the solubility of solids in liquids. Next, let us see the effect of solubility of gases in liquids. Solubility of gases in liquids. The solubility of gases in liquids decreases with increase in temperature. Or raise in temperature. The solubility of gases decreases with increase in temperature, with rise in temperature. Next, effect of pressure. Effect of pressure. The effect of pressure, that is the solubility of gases in liquids, the quantitative relationship was given by a scientist Henry. The quantitative relationship between solubility of gases in liquids and pressure was given by a scientist Henry. According to Henry's law, the solubility of gases in liquids is directly proportional to the partial pressure of the gas present above the surface of the solution. That is, the solubility of the gases in liquids is directly proportional to the partial pressure of the gas over the surface of the solution, according to Henry's law. In other words, the Henry's law may be stated as the partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase is proportional to the mole fraction of the solute. That is, P is proportional to X, where P is the partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase and X is the mole fraction of the solute. This equation becomes when a constant is introduced in place of proportionality, this KH, that KH is known as Henry's constant. As the value of KH increases, the solubility decreases. Therefore, this is the another form of the Henry's law, which explains the solubility of gases in liquids. Now, let us see the applications of Henry's law. Generally, we see the carbonated drinks or aerated water in sealed bottles. The reason is to increase the solubility of CO2 in soft drinks and soda water, the bottle is sealed at high pressure. This is the application of Henry's law because the solubility is directly proportional to the partial pressure of the gas. Therefore, in soft drinks and soda, the bottles are sealed at high pressure for the increase in solubility of CO2. Second application is sea divers use tanks filled with air diluted with helium. Sea divers use tanks mixed with air diluted with helium. The reason is at the bottom of the seas, the pressure will be high. Therefore, nitrogen is more soluble in blood at high pressure because the solubility is proportional to the pressure. When that divers come to the surface, the pressure decreases and nitrogen comes out in the form of the bubbles from the blood. In this process, it blocks the capillaries and causes some health disorders. To avoid this, the percentage of nitrogen is decreased by diluting with helium. Diluting with helium. The mixture is prepared with the following composition: 11.7% helium, 56.2% nitrogen, and 32.1% oxygen. 11.7% helium, 56.2% nitrogen, and 32.1% oxygen. 1% oxygen. This is because when we introduce helium in some place of the nitrogen, the solubility of nitrogen decreases and it will be less harmful or non-harmful to the sea divers. That is the second application of Henry's law. Second application of Henry's law. Just I come back to this topic solubility with a few points. The solubility of the solids in liquids depends on temperature, but it will not depend on pressure, because solids and liquids are non-compressible. The solubility of gases in liquids decreases with increasing temperature, but the solubility of gases and liquids depends on pressure. The quantitative relationship was given by Henry law. It is P proportional to X or P equal to KH into X. This KH is called Henry's constant. That KH is called Henry's constant. As the value of KH increases, the solubility decreases. Solubility decreases. That is about the solubility of substances in liquids. Now we just know about saturated and unsaturated solutions. Saturated and unsaturated solution. A saturated solution is that in which no more solute can be dissolved. No more solute can be dissolved at same temperature and pressure is called saturated solution. A saturated solution is a solution in which no more solute can be dissolved at specified temperature and pressure is called saturated solution. From this, it is very easy to estimate what is unsaturated solution. You can already define, you can define easily. The definition is the solution in which more solute may be dissolved at a specified temperature and pressure is called unsaturated solution. Unsaturated solution. So, let us recollect the points what we learned today. That is, first one is ppm, parts per million, and this concentration unit is used when the solute quantity is in trace amounts. So the water pollution, etc. are expressed in terms of ppm. Second one is solubility. Second one is solubility and definition of solubility and effect of different factors on solubility of solids in liquids and solubility of gases in liquids was also known. In this, the subtopic is Henry's law, that is P is equal to KH into X. The third topic we learned is types of solutions. That is, solutions are mainly gaseous solutions, liquid solutions, and solid solutions. The examples were also explained. And then we have already learned that what is a saturated solution and unsaturated solution. Thank you. We switch on to another new topic in fourth session.